Hey, what's good with it, Black Goose family, man? What is happening with it? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna turn my shit up just a little bit. Just so I don't have to be too close to the mic. But what's good with it, man? What's good with everybody, man? It's happy what's today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, man, for everybody, you know what I'm saying? Wherever you may be, man. We got the new year rolling up in this thing. So salute to that, you know what I'm saying? Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Then we got the new year coming, man. 2020 is basically up out of here. It's up out of here. So salute to the people, man. Appreciate everybody up out here, man. By the way, as always, how we start this, man, if you're not part of the Black Goose family, man, go ahead and hit that subscribe button that's down below, man. Show some support, show some love. Also hit that like button if you ain't hit the like button when you come up in here. Either way it goes, some type of interaction always helps with the videos. But we here, man. You know how I do this thing. Nothing too much, nothing too little, you know what I'm saying? I told you I was going to be back on my goddamn thing, and that's what we here, man. We're going to talk about some boxing topics. Obviously, we got Ron Garcia versus Luke Campbell. That's going to be happening on Saturday. I'm not going to do my cover of that yet. I'll do my boxing week fight video for that probably either tomorrow, Friday, something like that. Sounds good. Sounds good. So salute to that. And salute to everybody who decides to rock with me when it comes to this live. So I'm not going to be too long-winded when it comes to this because, you know what I'm saying, I don't have to work tomorrow. It's up to me whether or not I want to work tomorrow, but I'm going to go in probably later. So I'm going to go crazy tonight, man. I'm just, you know, saying New Year's, all that good stuff. New Year's Eve is tomorrow, so I'm about to go crazy next 3 days. You know how the holidays go. When it go to Christmas, New Year's, man, you got to turn up. And then my birthday was, you know what I'm saying, what was it, 10 days ago. So, you know what I'm saying, I just been up, you know what I'm saying? I've been up through it all. I've been getting turned up. I've been just enjoying time and enjoying the last, you know, couple weeks of this year and, you know, trying to end this thing with a bang. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it, man. I'm tired of being long with it in this thing. I be feeling like sometimes I be too long with it when I come with the intro. Sometimes I just want to talk up in this motherfucker. That's the whole point of this, right? But here we go, man. Triple G versus Jamie Munguia, man. So if y'all didn't watch my shit from yesterday, it's all good, man. Go ahead, check that out. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button on that if y'all ain't seen it. But you know what I'm saying? There was reports of Triple G's opponents for 2021. Obviously, there was nothing clear-cut, nothing really out there. There was just reported people that possibly Triple G could face. One of the people that was getting named was that Eddie Hearn himself was pushing for Demetrius Andrade to get that Triple G fight. But you know what I'm saying? If you watched after the Triple G fight, when he, you know, dismantled Sarasmeta and Eddie Hearn was kind of putting names out there for him to fight. You know, he said Canelo, said Andrade, you know, kind of threw out Billy Joe, you know. Triple G kind of just gave him a look. Like, look, motherfucker, you was not my promoter, bro. Why are you saying all this? He was just looking at him like, you know you're not in charge, right? Right? You see Triple G Promotions on this thing. Like, you know, you might be hosting it and doing all the big shit and all that stuff, but you know you're not in charge. That's why I came to you, because I choose who I want to fucking fight. That was the vibe I got from Triple G in that post-fight interview. For real, though. Like, if you want to be 100. And Triple G has every right to do that. At this point in his career where he's at, I think he has every right to pick whoever the fuck he wants to fight. Because at this point, I think Triple G's legacy is cemented. I don't think there's really nobody else out there that he can fight where motherfuckers going to be like, damn, Triple G really is that nigga. I think Triple G had such a great prime where people boosted him. I'm not talking about necessarily the resume, because some people will argue maybe Triple G doesn't have the best resume. But in his prime, when he was fighting, the way he was boosted, the way people, you know, saw him and the way people, you know what I'm saying, praised Triple G. And when you look back at his career, he's going to go down as a legend at his weight class. And I think at the age he's at, even though he's reinventing himself, probably going to get himself to get back a belt one more time. You know, and probably fight a few more, you know, solid names. But I think at this point, Triple G's just kind of looking for the bag, getting the bag, and then also hoping that he looks good, too, while getting to the bag. You know what I'm saying? And hoping maybe he can get that one more Canelo fight happening. But, you know, when I was watching that post-fight interview and Eddie Hearn was saying the names he was saying, like, I kind of felt Triple G there, because it's like, man, what's the point of me even fighting any of these guys? Like, y'all already paid me the bag. You know what I'm saying? It's just on me to pick who I want to fight. Like, my money's guaranteed with y'all. You heard me? So there's no point for me to necessarily be like, I'm about to sit here and I'm about to listen to who the fuck you, Eddie Hearn, want me to fight. Like, that doesn't make any type of sense, right? You're not my promoter. I'm at the stage where I got rid of my old trainer, got rid of my promoter. I'm my own promoter, my own promotional company. I want to do what the fuck I want to do, because I've been doing what everybody else been wanting me to do for this so long. You know what I'm saying? And that's the vibe I got when I was watching that post-fight interview. And I'm like, if this is true, if these reports are true, man, salute to motherfucking Triple G for this, because this is gonna be a hell of a fight if it ends up happening and getting done. And not only is it gonna be a hell of a fight, but also, in my opinion, I think that it's gonna add to his resume, Triple G's resume, and he's doing something that I think Canelo should take a look at, which is he's not confining himself to the DAZN stable of guys just because he is in a co-promotional deal, with DAZN, right? Because I'm like, you have the power to go if the number talks, if the number was right, or if Triple G wants it that bad because he is in control of his own future at this time, he can fight whoever the fuck he wants, as long as, you know what I'm saying, you get the if the numbers is right on both sides and there's agreement on both sides, it can get done. And that's kind of what we're seeing. You know, it seemed like we had a glimpse of that when it came to Canelo and Caleb Plant, you know, being speculated and kind of being put out there. But, you know, the way it seems now, it seems like Canelo was just fine, and so be it. But Canelo was just fine kind of working with Eddie Hearn and his stable of guys and kind of staying within that frame as of now. You know, it might change later on. You know what I'm saying? It can easily change later on, but that's how it seems right now. It seems like Triple G's taking a different approach. Only because you got to remember Triple G did that already. You got to remember, I can't remember what his fight deal that he had. Hey, yo, what's good with it, man? He said, how about them Cowboys, Super Bowl 2021? Did they lose or some shit? Ain't the Cowboys trash, man? If y'all up in here, by the way, y'all ain't subscribed, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. Show some love. Hit that like button, man. And I'm thinking about, too, I ain't been watching. Look, I ain't been following football like that this year. But when the playoffs hit, the playoffs are about to hit, I'll probably go live for some of those games if I feel like watching them. I'm not the biggest football fan, so I may do that. And then basketball starting back up. I'm going to go live for some basketball games. It's just at the beginning of the season. They got so many games. Like, man, that shit is not fun for me to watch. But, you know, the games I really want to see, like when Brooklyn plays the Lakers, I'll go live for that for sure. You know what I'm saying? Some shit like that. So, you know, we ain't just boxing over here, but boxing is the shit that keep me up, keep me going. But salute to you, Adrien, LP. Appreciate you hopping in that chat. And, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't part of the family, man, you hit that subscribe button. But if you got to look at Triple G when it comes to when I don't remember the amount of fights that he signed with the DAZN. I'm going to say it was either between like 5 to 8, possibly. He might have re-upped too, and nobody really knows, but I doubt that's the case. But I don't think he has a lot more left on his contract. But if you think about it, if you think about when he first signed with DAZN, he basically did what Canelo's doing now. And basically what that is he's respecting DAZN. He's like, look, since I signed with y'all, I'll fight the stable of guys that you present to me. You know what I'm saying? The Rolls, who the fuck else he fought? Oh, Derevchenko. Like these were guys in Eddie Hearn's stable that he was like, hey man, it's gonna help us on both ends if these are the guys you fight. And then you guys got to remember, within that time frame, I think Triple G was he was cool with doing that because obviously he changed trainers and he's changing his whole style of how he's fighting. So he's gonna need some warm-up fights. He's gonna need some guys that he got to get in there and he got to work out those kicks. But I think in the back of his mind, he's like, look, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with getting these warm-up fights. I don't want to disrespect his opponents, but I'm cool with getting these opponents that, you know what I'm saying, most of us expected him to, you know, be able to win, even though the Derevchenko fight was controversial. In the back of his mind, he's thinking that Canelo fight is going to happen at some point. Obviously, we all thought that was going to happen. Both him and Canelo signed with DAZN, you know, within a very short time frame from each other. So you seeing that, Triple G seeing that, he's like, man, that Canelo fight's happening. And then there was reports of the Canelo fight being in Triple G's contract the same way that the Triple G fight was in Canelo's contract, like it was supposed to happen. So obviously Canelo's not, it's been, from the perspective of the media, the perspective outside looking in, it's looked at as if Canelo's the one who doesn't really need or want the fight, and Triple G's kind of the one who's like, I want the fight. That's how it was looking for a minute, right? Now it seems like it's at the point where Triple G's, he's basically moved on, if that makes sense. He's basically like, look, if the fight happens, the fight happens. If the fight doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Right now, I'm focused on my promotional company, and I'm focused on fighting the guys that I want to fight at this point that will add to my legacy or get me the biggest bag. And so I think Triple G, he's doing a smart thing because he's getting away from just being like letting the zone kind of hand him opponents, because maybe he felt like at some point that was going to lead him to Canelo fight, but now he knows I'm in control of my own future, so let me choose who I'm going to choose. And if Jamie Mwanga is one of those guys that they're considering, I think that's a hell of a move for Triple G. That's going to be a tough fight for Triple G. Jamie Mwanga is a young guy. He does have that one loss, a loss that a lot of people didn't expect him. But man, Jamie Mwanga is a beast, man. He was one of Golden Boy's prodigies. He was supposed to be that guy at super middleweight. He still can be because he's so goddamn young. I think he's only 23 years old, something like that. Let's go down. How about this? Instead of me doing, hold on a second. I got my. Instead of me doing all this goddamn speculation, let's go into the article real quick and let's see if they can sew up some loose ends that I'm talking about. But hold on a second, really quick, y'all. I like to hear myself when I'm talking, and sometimes my headphones be a bitch. So let me just fix that real quick. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and read through this. Let's see what it's talking about. So, promoter Fernando Beltran has revealed that negotiations have already begun for a fight between Triple G and Jamie Mwanga for May 2021. Okay, so we're talking about Cinco de Mayo. Remember yesterday I was talking about that Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders is supposed to be in talks for Cinco de Mayo next year as well. Canelo versus Yildirim, that's basically a done deal. That's most likely going to be happening in February because that is Canelo's WBC mandatory. So that's going to be happening. Most likely it's going to be happening in Mexico. So that's basically a done deal when it comes to that. But Eddie Hearn is also trying to negotiate a 2-fight deal where after that he's fighting Billy Joe Saunders on Cinco de Mayo. So now we have Triple G negotiating a deal where he's going to be fighting Cinco de Mayo basically around that time. Because it's not a specific date, just saying in May, but I'm assuming it's going to be during that time. Mwanga is now 24, by the way, so he's 24 years old, so still a young gun. He still has hella time to improve on his craft and whatnot. But you know, we're starting to see Triple G and Canelo being tied no matter what, right? Kind of like Pacquiao and Floyd, if you want to talk about it. Like, is Lowball getting to the point where you can't mention one name without the other? Just like Floyd and Pac. The difference between Floyd and Pac, obviously, their fight was a little bit too little, too late. Triple G and Canelo already fought 2 times. Right, and a lot of people would say it's tied. Even when people were speculating at the time the third fight to happen, some people didn't want to see it like that. So if you really think about it, the wait is beneficial for maybe the people's anticipation of wanting to actually watch the fight. But then also you can look at it this way too, where, you know what I'm saying, it could be beneficial for that, but it can be detrimental for Triple G because he's getting older, right? But if y'all remember what I said for the Sarah Zameta fight for Triple G, him taking that time off was clutch. I was like, I think him having that time off, having that year off, being able to be in the gym, recoup, especially after that war with Derevyanchenko, I think that was gonna be a lot more beneficial for him than rather, you know, a lot of people say when you get older, you as a fighter or even as a fighter period, you should stay active in that thing and be competing. But I think when you get older and you've already had a lot of ring time, ring experience, all that good stuff, the more rest you take is actually better for your body because you gotta let the bones heal, man. Like the more wear and tear you put on there, the faster you're gonna be slipping and sliding. You know what I'm saying? When you take care of your body, you take a little bit more rest. You already got the ring time in there, so that ain't gonna go, man. It's gonna be very rare for you to get some ring rest at that, you know, with that much experience. Especially the way boxing goes. Boxing ain't MMA, so it's like MMA ring rest is different than boxing ring rest. Very different. Boxing is a lot more muscle memory than MMA is. So with that just being said, you know, I said that was going to be a good thing for Triple G. And I was right because he looked absolutely amazing against Sarah Zameta. Now, some people can argue, okay, but it was against Sarah Zameta. Either way it goes, he looked better than he did against Rose, and he was just fine Rose. And he looked better than he did when he was fighting Derevyanchenko. Derevyanchenko was a stud. So that's some credit to that he's been putting that work in the gym, and he looked in the best shape that he ever looked. So my whole point, basically, what I'm getting to is Triple G versus Jamie Mwanga happening next year is a hell of a fight. And you can see if this is going to be like, if Triple G is looking at just fighting in May and then maybe fighting like towards the end of the year like he did this year, that would be good for him. I don't think he should come back quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he should be looking to do kind of like what Canelo's doing. Canelo's supposed to fight in February, then on Cinco de Mayo, and then he might have a third fight at the end of the year. But I think if the pandemic is hitting crazy, I doubt he'll fight again. But I don't think he should do it like Canelo because he's an older dude. So I think he should take that time, you know what I'm saying, enjoy that win, get back in the gym, work on his shit, and come back in May. And that's probably what we're going to see when it comes to Triple G. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him fighting earlier because what's the point and who is it to fight? So I think this is a hell of a fight for Triple G because, you know, Jamie Mwanga's young. Jamie Mwanga, he's been tested to an extent. Obviously, he hasn't been tested to a Triple G level, but he's shown that he can take an L and he can come back and get a W, and he can ride on that momentum. And he's shown that even though, you know what I'm saying, he obviously, he's one of those guys that was in the Oscar De La Hoya camp that was supposed to be boosted as the next big thing. The loss didn't help him in any type of way. But his comeback, his resurgence, he still has the possibility to be great. That's my opinion. I think Jamie Mwanga is bad. I think they just kind of fed him to the wrong. I think they fed him to the wrong opponents a little bit too early. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a Daniel Dubois type debacle, in my opinion. He had kind of the same thing, rushing him just a little bit too early and putting him in there with a guy that he probably shouldn't have been with just yet. So I think this is a hell of a fight right here. Now, is it happening again? Now, if this fight ends up going through, if it ends up getting signed, is this Oscar De La Hoya taking another chance? In the sense of, all right, Jamie Mwanga was supposed to be a star. He was supposed to be that guy. He was one of the guys I wanted to build up, similar to the Ryan Garcias of the world, Jose Ramirez of the world, Victor Ortiz Jr.'s of the world. Like this is the dude. Like I wanted to be in that same aspect, right? And he still can be. But in the back of his mind, Oscar De La Hoya's mind, the same way it's going to be for Daniel Dubois' promoter, Frank Warren, is that loss is going to be there no matter what, right? Not necessarily just seeing the one loss on there, but how he lost, when he lost, and the hype behind him, and how it was just killed. So with that being said, how do you wipe all that away? How does that loss become non-existent for a guy like Jamie Mwanga, who's 24 years old and obviously has a bright future, regardless of what's happened in the past? We put him in there with a legend like Triple G, an older legend like Triple G, where if he does scrape out a W or give Triple G a fight of his life, it boosts him right back up there with those, you can say casual, some people say casual, I like to say mainstream fans who really only wake up for the big fight to the big names. It's going to put him back on that platform, because Jamie Mwanga, he can win 5 in a row. He's never going to be necessarily back on that mainstream popularity fan base that he was before that loss, because you got to understand boxing fans are fickle. So all we do, you know what I'm saying, not necessarily the hardcore fans, but even some of the hardcore fans, all we do, we look at the motherfucking record. We look at the record. We look at the record. We look at the record. And we see that one loss, we be like, well, that guy ain't shit. Look what they doing to Anthony Yard. Right? Dude had 1 loss. Now he has 2 losses. Motherfuckers is throwing him to the wolves now. Even though he's a great talent, he still has a chance to be great. Look at what happened with Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer had that last loss against Coco Diaz, man. We haven't heard from this motherfucker. And nobody even gives a fuck about him when it comes to the 135 division. Think how things have changed in the last 3 years. Tevin Farmer was basically talked about just as much as Gervonta Davis 2 years ago. So, obviously, Oscar De La Hoya sees that. Also, from what it seems like, Oscar De La Hoya doesn't really particularly care for Triple G, right? I don't know why. Obviously, I think it has to do somewhere in between the lines of the Canelo and Triple G fights, and maybe it being hard to negotiate. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure Oscar De La Hoya doesn't care for Triple G, because the motherfucker keeps talking about how he's going to be coming back and he's going to be fighting. One of the dudes he called out was Triple G. Triple G was talking about he don't mind catching a body if Oscar De La Hoya wants to smoke. And obviously we see Oscar De La Hoya, he called out Canelo too. Oscar De La Hoya on some crazy shit. But anyways, we see Oscar De La Hoya don't particularly care for Triple G. So I'm pretty sure he is salivating at the mouth to be like, for him to be like, I could put my young man, my young warrior, Jamie Mwanga, in there with him, and he could possibly take that man's throne. I don't see how Oscar De La Hoya passes up on that, even though it may not be the best decision for that man right there. Let me point at the camera. Hold up. Wait, which way? Oh, here we go. For that man right there, for Jamie Mwanga, it may not be the best idea. Because the same thing that he's dealing with, like I said, Daniel Dubois and Frank Warren's going to have to deal with. And they're going to have to decide whether or not, even though UK fans are a lot better than the US fans when it comes to losses, and they're a lot better when it comes to like winning streaks and things like that. They'll give their boxers another chance, even if they get an L, 2 L's or whatnot, especially if they perform good. And they don't. And UK fans seem to not really focus strictly on like who did he fight, But you know, when it comes to the period, when it comes to fighters people don't like, that's the first thing people bring in. Well, who did he fight? This person's resume is better. But overall, in the sense of just watching, they're a lot less fickle than the U.S. fans, it seems like, in my opinion. So Daniel Dubois is going to have an easier path coming back. Like, Daniel Dubois, he can win 4 fights in a row against dudes people don't really know. The U.S. fans may be like, ugh. But the U.K. fans will be like, man, he's back. They back on the hype train, all that good stuff. U.S. fans ain't going to do that for Jamie Mwanga. Motherfucker went 5 in a row. They gonna be like, well, who did you fight? So I understand the aspect of throwing him. Like, if you have the opportunity to make this fight, I understand why I understand why Oscar De La Hoya is considering it. And it's not even a considering it; it's in negotiations. So let's read through this article just a little bit, not too much. Promoter Fernando Beltran has revealed that negotiations have already begun for a fight between Triple G and Jamie Mwanga for May 2021. Beltran, who promotes former WBO junior middleweight champion Mwanga, told ESPN the news of the talk between the two power punchers. Golovkin and Mwanga had previously been in talks to fight in 2018, but the match was derailed when it wasn't approved by one of the state boxing commissions. Obviously, because we're talking about experience, right? Triple G was just way too experienced at that point to fight Jamie Mwanga, so they didn't let that pass. Obviously, that's changed in the last 2 years. Mwanga is now 24. He's picked up experience after capturing the WBO junior middleweight title in 2018. Mwanga sees weakness in Triple G that he believes he can exploit right now, and he's chomping at the bits for the popular fight. So, this news probably won't please Matchroom Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn. On Tuesday, he said that he plans to speak with DAZN about a potential fight between Triple G and Boo Boo. And that's what I was talking about yesterday. Hearn promotes Andrade and said he wants to match against a big name, and right now, Triple G still doesn't have an opponent for his next fight. But that would change with Zanfer Promotion Beltran starting negotiations for a match between Triple G and Mwanga. We were doing well. I think we have a good chance of having this fight. We were just talking. Mwanga's co-promoters at Golden Boy Promotions are eager to match the fight with Triple G, seeing that they feel confident that their fight is ready to beat the popular Kazakh star. So, yeah. So and then as you go down a little bit, the Triple G versus Mwanga winner could land the Canelo fight. Obviously, as long as Triple G keeps winning, at some point we're going to see Triple G versus Canelo 3. I'm gonna move over. This is from BoxingScene.com, just to show you how serious in talks this Triple G versus Mwanga fight is going to happen. And then if you're thinking about the Boxing News 24, where he said this might upset the Matchroom Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, obviously because he wants the Demetrius Andrade versus Triple G. Like, Eddie Hearn's been doing the best. I'll give Eddie Hearn this. He's been doing really from the outside looking in. I don't know what he's doing on the inside. From the outside, it looks like he's doing his best to try and put Demetrius Andrade on another level, because there's too many good middleweights, super middleweights for Andrade not to be fighting, for him not to be talked about in the same way, especially at his skill level, right? But no one wants to fight Andrade because Andrade is at the point in his career now where he has no financial value for anyone to fight him. It's too much of a risk, too low of a reward. I beat Andrade, but I'm getting paid the same amount of money for me to fight a number 6 ranked dude, knowing I could beat that dude easily. I'll get paid the same exact that money I will get if I fight Andrade, and it might be the hardest fight of my life, right? Who the fuck would do that, right? A lot of people will look at it like, oh, well, if you fight, you should be scared. No, it's not just about the fight. It's about the promoter, too. It's about the camp. It's about the motherfucking broadcast. It's about money. I'm going to take less money to fight Andrade, a tougher test than Jamie Mwanga, where I can get paid more money fighting Mwanga. Eddie Hearn was Andrade versus Triple G because, like I said, Andrade is with Matchroom. So there's going to be more money staying within the family. But like I said, Triple G is his own promotional company. He signed a joint deal with DAZN. So he can't choose who the fuck he wants to fight. So let's read this real quick. Let's see if it's very similar. So this is kind of 2 years ago, Mwanga was selected as opponent for Triple G, who was seeking a foe to replace Canelo, who was pulled from the fight after failing a pre-fight drug test. The Nevada Athletic Commission refused to sanction the fight, citing Mwanga's age and lack of world-class experience. Like I said, the decision benefited Mwanga and helped jumpstart his career following the refusal of an NSAC. Mwanga was selected as a voluntary opponent. Mwanga 36-0. Okay, so I could have sworn Jamie Mwanga had an L. He didn't lose, or he must have had a controversial fight, because I goddamn remember watching him fight, and he had a controversial fight. A lot of people thought he lost. So, excuse me, I've been giving y'all misinformation from the beginning of this. I said that he has one loss, and he's in the same boat as the boy. Apparently, he's undefeated still. He hasn't taken no L. So, that's my fault. The 24-year-old was in action in October when he stopped veteran Toronto Johnson by splitting his lower lip in half with a vicious uppercut. After the fight, Mo said he's very willing to face Golovkin and his co-promoter Golden Boy Promotions. We're fully on board. By the way, Golovkin is also in the running for a fight with Canelo, but the fight with Canelo is not looking like it's possible. Like I said, Canelo will first make a mandatory defense against Yildirim in February, and then most likely he's returning in May, and he's fighting Billy Joe. So this is a hell of a fight right here, man. Jamie Mwanga versus Triple G would be a hell of a fight, because if Triple G beats Mwanga, there's no way Triple G Rich Canelo isn't happening. No way, because that's the exact name that he would need on his resume for the hype to get back where it needs to be. Where I think the hype is actually pretty high now, with Canelo kind of running through all of his opponents. You know, his future opponents being announced. No one's really interested in seeing those. You know, people were basically at the point now where like, look, we either want to see you fight Jamal or we want to see you fight Triple G. Those are really the only two names that people, at least in the States, were really interested in seeing Triple G fight. Canelo fight next. And the narrative when it comes to Triple G is that he's getting older. So the narrative around Canelo wanting to fight Triple G again is basically based upon the fact that Canelo's just waiting until Triple G's entirely out of his prime, entirely too old, so we can wash him. If Triple G fights a young gun like Jamie Munguia and beats him, whether it be controversial, whether it be in very beautiful fashion, whether it be in devastating fashion, motherfuckers gonna be like, all right, we need to see that Canelo fight now, because obviously Triple G is still at peak form. Like, that's all we need. You know what I'm saying? Seeing that last fight, it already talked about Tosh, because he looked great against Sarah Zameta. Like, looked fucking great. While Canelo looked good against Callum Smith, in my opinion. And I think Triple G washes Callum Smith. Like, I think Triple G beats Callum Smith easily, the same way Canelo did. So, this would be a good fight, man. I hope it's for real. I hope it's being talked about. Look at the comments, man. Why not? Let's see how it plays out. I guess his opponent is live and ready to fight, then why not? And have Triple G deliberate Mwanga. What's next? Wait for another year to see Triple G. Make it happen, please. This Mwanga only fights bums. Time to fight somebody. Miss Murata, Brant, Eubank, Brandon Adams will do. Brandon Adams, goddamn. I haven't heard nothing from Murata in a minute. I haven't really heard nothing from Chris Eubanks. I'm waiting. Like, I love Chris Eubank Jr., man. I wish he got a little bit more love. Mexican middleweight contender Jamie Wong revealed that there are discussions for potential to win showdown with IBF, IBO World Champion 2 years. I was so disappointed. Wow, everyone's believing that Triple G, at least in these comments, would murder Mwanga. I don't think it would be that easy. I think it's gonna be a tough fight. Mwanga is dude's solid. Dude is a solid opponent. A lot of people are probably basing that off of his last fight. If you saw his last fight with Ali, he did struggle with him, even though it was a beautiful uppercut that he demolished him with. I remember that fight, but he did struggle with him. He might have been losing that fight based on points by the time he hit him with that uppercut. It's gonna be a tough fight. But that's what's in the work. Let's move over. Next solution, we talking about AB, man. You know, AB been talking about change his life around. You know what I'm saying? If y'all see the reports, basically, AB basically said, you know what I'm saying, he would wait. He basically said he was depressed. He was unhappy. It's crazy when you hear these things though from you know, motherfuckers who make it a point to show you that they're not depressed. Does that make sense? This all comes full circle back to my Know Your Worth live stream. When you look at these motherfuckers who be, you know, flashing this life or showing this shit where everything is perfect, everything 100. I mean, what it is. I'm like, a dude who makes it a point, goes out of his way to not only show off his lifestyle, but to show how much better his lifestyle is. To then come out and be like, man, I was depressed. I was drinking so much. I wasn't happy with my life. I was in a bad spot. It's like, and look, I love AB, man. AB been my favorite fighter for I don't know how long. But over time, man, shit gets tiresome, because especially when you become a grown man, and you start figuring out life, you start figuring out the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, you really just be like, man, AB, you a clown, bro. You are a complete and utter clown, man. Now, I do think that people underestimate the greatness of AB, because to me, he was never a natural 147er. I think he ruined his career going up to 147. I think he would have been a Hall of Famer, and he would have considered as one of the greatest if he would have stayed at 135. Even if he would have fought at 140, I think he would have had it'd have been a different narrative. But you know, at the time, he was feeling himself. He thought he had the shits, and he was following in the footsteps of a Floyd Mayweather that he himself said was his big brother. He was, you know, so he wanted to do the same things he did, and in my opinion, I think he could have easily went up 147, and he could have maybe found different opponents to supplement him. You know what I'm saying? But he took on the best of the best. Some people used to be like, Madonna's the best of the best. What? If you in 135 or jumping up to 147, it's pretty damn close. Sean Porter, Like, these aren't easy matchups at 147. Manny Pacquiao, like, it's not like he's just fighting the who's who of 147. Like, he's fighting those guys. So I give AB a pass on that. I don't give him a pass on how he presents himself and then how he expects sympathy because of it. Does that make sense? Like, nigga, you can't do the money phone joint. Oh, I got the money phone. Look how much money I got. You can't be like, I don't need change. And then, nigga, when you about to make your comeback, do this whole long story like, oh, I was waking up in the morning at 7 in the a.m. instead of drinking water. You know what I'm saying? I would do a shot of Patron or whatever the fuck it was, shot of alcohol, and I would just drink all day, and I'd be drunk by like 6 o'clock. And that was the life I was living. I wasn't serious. I was unhappy. I was depressed. But now I'm serious. Boo, boo, boo. It's like, nigga, I don't feel sorry for you, bro. That was your choices. That's on you, especially at the. And it's like, when you grow up, when you at the point you is now, man, like shit like that, I just be like, bro, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You're a grown ass man with kids. Money in the bank. Accomplished a lot of your dreams. Accomplished a lot of shit most people would never even fathom. And now you asking for sympathy. It's not gonna happen, bro. It's not gonna happen. And so that's my only dilemma when it comes to AB. So y'all see here on the report, Adrien Broner to fight in February, Wallen Brazil and co-feature. Okay, so we got Otto Wallen versus Dominic Brazil is going to be in the co-feature. They haven't actually said Adrien Broner's opponent yet, but he's expected to come back in February. Like I said, he did that whole post and all that shit talking about, you know what I'm saying, he hasn't had nothing to drink, he loves to party and all that stuff, but he went away from it, he was unhappy, and he's just been in the lab, he's been shedding his pounds now, he said he was overweight, now he's back in shape, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying yada, yada, yada because I don't believe him. I completely believe him. He's been doing this all his life. The way he presents it, I don't believe. I'm like, motherfucker, you doing this because you need a check. You don't got no choice but to live this lifestyle because the only way you're going to get that big check is, nigga, you got to go fight again. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to go back and fight and get embarrassed, so you got to take it serious. You feel me? So, let's talk about it. Adrien Broner will be returning to the ring from a 2-year absence in February to headline a card on Showtime with heavyweights Otto Wallen versus Dominic Brazil and co-feature. There's no word yet on the opponent for the former 4-division world champion, but it's safe to say to assume that it won't be too dangerous. Boxing fans would like to see Broner face someone like Regis Prograis or José Lopez, but they guys might be a little too risky for Adrien. Broner's reportedly lost 57 pounds, which is a tremendous amount of weight for a fighter that campaigns at 147. 57 fucking pounds, dude. 57 pounds, bro. He was sitting at like 204. Is what you telling me? Nigga only like 5'6". Like, bro, like I'm 6'4". Like, you weighing around my, like, that's crazy. That's talking about being undisciplined to a whole nother level. So I'm like, the way I see it is when a dude does that, when a fighter does that, there's no way you're going to be able to beat the top level competition, because top level competition is just not doing it. They're not letting themselves go to that extent. To some extent, they stay in the gym. They stay around a certain weight. It's not their fighting weight, but they don't let themselves get too blown up. They continue to work out. AB don't got that. So I'm like, unless AB is fighting a lower level opponent that we know he's going to win, which we seen him do, you know what I'm saying? We seen him in between, you know, losses that he never expected. He would take on fights in lower weight classes or at catch weights in order to kind of build his confidence back up. So that's what we're going to see. It's just Adrien Broner's headline because Adrien Broner's still a name. But he doesn't necessarily have to fight anyone gives a fuck about. And it's already about to be January, so if he was fighting against somebody we gave a fuck about, that would have been announced already. That would have been being promoted. People would have been talking about it. All types of shit. So we know that's not the case. Look at this. Broner hasn't won a fight since 2007. That was against Adrian Granados by a questionable 10-round split decision. The same Granados that Danny Garcia knocked out. So I'm just, for me, I'm very interested to see who he actually ends up fighting. And then Brazil's going to be back against Otto Wallen. Oh, Otto Wallen's 6'6" now, huh? I thought he was 6'5". Keep boosting the man. But I always like to have 2 articles up just to show you how serious the actual reports are. Usually if it's only one person reporting it or one boxing news site, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is reporting it, usually it's not too accurate. But this one, look at this. This is the post that he made. Here it goes. Good morning. Today I ran 6 miles in 54 minutes. That's a good time. 6 miles in 54 minutes. In 54 minutes, I can probably run. In 54 minutes. In 54 minutes, I could probably run about 7 miles. 7 miles in 54 minutes. Yeah, because I'm like at 4 miles in about 30 minutes. 5 miles about 40. 6 miles about 50. Yeah, I can run about 7. Like when I was in shape, when I thought I was gonna be fighting and stuff like that, I was running like 7 to 8 miles an hour. So for a guy who's been doing it as long as he has, that's not impressive to me. But a guy who went from 57 pounds overweight, waking up not drinking water first and taking a shot in 1942 and started drinking for the rest of the day to wake up, that's very good. So he's gonna have to improve that though. 6 miles in 54 minutes ain't nothing to brag about, especially for a guy his size. So he also said, this is to be one of the best boxers ever, and I didn't look back. Now I'm months in and liquor free and over 30 pounds down. If you know me, then you know I love to drink, but I love my family and money more. So you see that last part right there? That's why, like, man, read between the lines. Don't always believe in the clown shit. You know what I'm saying? But I love my family and I love my money more. So he's doing it because he needs the money for his family. That's what he's doing it for. So I'm like, man, we ain't gonna see him fighting against nobody that's gonna be elite level. Like, we're just not. So I'm gonna be very interested to see who he actually ends up fighting. Like, that's what I want to see. Who is the next opponent? Let's look at these comments real quick. Only Broner would. Khan would stay if he was in the UFC. UFC keeps the same fight. Blah. But if Broner can make 135 or 140, he can beat these guys. I know he will knock out the email champ. Broner cannot make 135 or 140 no more. This nigga just said he came from 205. Like, come on. 147 is kind of weak. Only Spencer Crawford are good at that weight. Maybe he can fight Crawford. That's not happening. This guy's most likely broke after settling numerous lawsuits, paying lawyers truckloads of money. He needs to go back in the ring ASAP. Please stop. Stop giving attention to why his boxers keep paying and promoting guys like Khan and Broner. This is the UFC that Carter would have been sold to a second-tier fighting league. What champion can he be? Too bad me down didn't permanently brain damage this ghetto thug piece of... Whoa, you mad? AB slept with your chicks or something? If AB is ghetto, as you say, what is Tyson Fury? Anyways, fuck all the dumb shit. Broner's back, man, and he's going to be back in February, most likely against an opponent no one's going to really care about, but people are going to watch because they're just going to want to see how does Broner look, you know what I'm saying, and that's always going to be something that he's going to have in his back pocket. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end this off with Amir Fraud Khan. Now, I don't know if y'all know anything about this channel, and if y'all don't, then that mostly means you're not subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and show some goddamn love, but I am not a fan of Amir Khan. I am not a fan of Amir Khan, and the reason I'm not a fan of Amir Khan because I do not like the way he disrespects Kell Brook, as if he's a better fighter than Kell Brook, as if he has a better resume than Kell Brook, as if he has a better history than Kell Brook. Kell Brook is the fucking man. To me, very big fan of Kell Brook, one of my favorite fighters. So I've hated how over the last 2 to 3 years Amir Khan has talked shit on Kell Brook, acting like Kell Brook is below him, and he does not deserve a fight with Amir Khan. Ha! But of course, Amir Khan, now, after seeing him be obliterated by Terrence Crawford, I want to fight Kell Brook in 2021 and put him in his place. Of course you do, because you think you can beat him. I still don't think you can beat him, bro. I think Kell Brook obliterates your ass, and I'm all up for it, and I hope we see this fight get done. I'm there. I'm 100% there. I want to see that joint. Amir Khan says he wants to fight Kell Brook in 2021 and put him in his place. The time for Khan winning to face former IBF champion Brook isn't ideal, considering he's 34 now, looking shot and coming off he looks shot, but Amir Khan doesn't look shot. Khan is saying what weight he'll be facing Brook, but he'll likely insist on him fighting at 147, that we saw in the Crawford fight. Khan wants to shut Brook up in 2020. I think with Kell Brook, who always been running his mouth, I think put him in his place. Kell Brook been running his mouth. Motherfucker, you run your mouth. I think put him in his place now. I think it's about time now to put him in his place and shut him up for good. Yeah, very, very convenient timing because you think he's shot. People think Kell Brook is shot, but I'm telling you, put him against the right opponent at the same level as him, he's getting worked, bro. And Brook is a higher level fighter than Khan, in my opinion. He's going to work, and he's a bigger fighter. I'm telling you, Kell Brook is going to punish Khan if they fight. Amir plans to fight in March or April. I want to fight again around March or April, and there's so many names out there. There's so many deals on the table in the Middle East as well. So let's see how that plays out. Like I said, I'd like to show 2 articles just to show you how serious it is. It's from BoxingScene.com. Okay. So the long developing grudge match between Conor and Brook was one which appeared to have been left in the rearview mirror at the start of the 2020. The pair of Brits have spent years circling one another. That's a fact. Brooks was due to headline the December 2018 show in Sheffield, hometown, with the intention of Conor appearing ringside. The idea was for Brook, a former welterweight titleist who was campaigning at junior middleweight at the time, to prevail in the scheduled fight with Michael Zerafa, providing the key step in moving forward with a Khan fight. Khan ultimately balked at the idea, instead of spending his 32nd birthday tending to other matters in store for a 2004 Olympic silver medalist and former junior weight champ. Was a showdown with three-division and reigning welterweight titleist Terrence Crawford with their April 2020 night clash, which he got smoked. Brook would then sit out all of 2019, return to the ring this past February in 7th round knockout of Michael Zerafa at home in Sheffield. The win position is now 34. And people act like Michael Zerafa is a easy. Bro, Zerafa is he ain't no joke. Top tier B+ level fighter, man. The gloves are still on since Khan, who has not fought since the 4th round knockout of former featherweight titleist Billy Dibb last July. I'm thinking of fighting probably next year. The year was a bit of a bad year for everybody in boxing. Was off. I want to fight again around March, like I was saying in the last one. So let's go to these comments. Let's see what they're talking about. Well, marinating backfires, I feel only in boxing. Marinating seems to backfire way more often than it works. This fight made sense a few years back, but now not so much. If it happens, then okay, it'll be just a scrap, I guess. But I don't see Khan easily beating Brook. To be honest, it will be dangerous for him. Absolutely. Terrible comparison. These guys obviously all have good wins in the past 2 years. Khan and Brook, when was either's last good win? Being knocked out actually motivates Khan to keep going, so I don't think you want that. One of the most meaningless fights ever. Yeah, if you're not fans of either Khan or Brook, no. If you're fans of either or, then yes, this is something that you've been waiting for. Like me, I'm a fan of Brook, so this is a fight I've been waiting to get scheduled because I want Brook to humble that motherfucker Khan, okay? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the disrespect, man. I want Brook to humble Khan because I don't think Khan understands how much of a bullshit I see him as. But that doesn't matter. But we through and through this thing. I'm not going to make this long with it. I'm not going to go extra. There's no point for that. By the way, if you guys are not part of the Black Goose family, man, hit the subscribe button, man. Show some love, man. I don't do this for no reason. So please hit the subscribe button. Be part of the Black Goose family, man. Hit the like button, all that good stuff. I may be back tomorrow. I plan to be back tomorrow. I want to go ahead and cover Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell, do a preview, and then obviously we're gonna be back in this thing on Saturday, and we are going to watch that goddamn live fight. Like I said, man, I do plan to go live for some football games. I plan to go live for some basketball games. I'm just waiting for the ones to go live for that I actually feel like sitting down and watching the joint. I haven't been interested in any. I'm pretty sure I'll start going live for the football games, for some playoff games, the ones I'm interested in. Basketball. Give me a little time. I like to get at least mid-season or towards the end of the season before I start getting into that. But for like a game like the Lakers versus Brooklyn Nets, like I'm waiting for that. I'll go live for that and all that good stuff. So, but salute to the people, man. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Happy New Year's to everybody. It's about to come up, man. Hopefully y'all enjoying your day. Enjoy your night. I know I am. I'm about to get lit. All that good stuff. So salute to the people, man. Right before I leave, one more time, hit the subscribe button right below where my finger is pointing. Hit that joint right there. Hit the like button. It's right next to it as well. Doesn't cost anything. No money involved. Just showing some love, man. Show some love, goddammit. But I'm out here, Mr. Positivity, man. Stay positive. Fuck all the bullshit. Salute to the people.